So that brings us to our number 26 team. We talked about Jaden Daniels. Let's talk about Drake May and the New England Patriots. I, everything I've read about Drake May, seen about Drake May, I think he's going to be really good. I really think he's the answer for New England. Just watching his highlights, reading up on what people think about him, seems like he's just got a good head on his shoulders and has all the physical tools, all the talent, the arm strength is there, the ability to escape from the pocket. And I like Jaden Daniels a lot too. I think this is a really good quarterback class. I don't want to say that I'm demeaning Jaden Daniels. I just feel like Drew. I was about to say Drew Aller. I think Drake May has, to me, has a slightly more potential to be like a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. I also love having Jacoby Brissett as like the veteran coming back to New England. People think he might start the first few games, and why not? I guess get to like the bye or whatever, then put Drake May in. I don't have a problem with that because I like Jacoby Brissett. He's been a good, stopgap starter for a few years here. So, what do you think about Drake May? But also, I guess we buried the lead. Bill Belichick isn't the head coach of this team. So, what do you make of all the chaos in New England this offseason I think it started as chaos, but I really like where it landed for them.
So with the whole Bill Belichick thing being the elephant in the room, I like that at the very least Sherrod Mayo, who he essentially endorsed to be his replacement, which to me is always a good sign. Sherrod Mayo was a pretty underrated linebacker during his career. He's a very solid leadership component of those Super Bowl winning teams. And, he was picked. And Bill Belichick, at the end of the day, we can argue all day long, or people in general argue about, was it more Tom Brady or Bill Belichick their success? At the end of the day, Bill Belichick's still a really good coach, even if he hasn't been able to get the best out of the recent Patriots teams. And I like that he endorsed the Gerard Mayo thing, and that gives me confidence that he's at least going to be competent, and he deserves the whole at least a year or two to see what he's working with. And I like the quarterback room, like a decent amount. I think this is one of the, in a weird ways, deeper quarterback rooms.
Your guy Joe
They have they have a solid man, Jacoby Brissett. They have their top draft pick in Drake May, and at the very least, their third guy is going to be Joe Milton, who's got a crazy arm and crazy athleticism. Weirdly enough, I think they have a lot of good QBs whoever's going to end up playing is going to at least be competent enough, right? And so, although the offense to me is a little bit of question marks, it's more that we just don't know who's really going to be the key starters on this team, not if the offense is going to improve. Because it seems pretty clear to me looking at this team that their offense is going to be better this year. It's just who's going to be the leading, offensive threats on this team.
Right, and I think something actually really important happened today. It's lucky we're recording it today. Juju Smith-Schuster was released by this team. And obviously he was brought in to be pretty much the number one receiver last offseason. He just dealt with a ton of injuries. But I think that opens the door pretty clearly for Demario Douglas and especially Jalen Polk. Both those guys are going to be super essential for, especially when Drake gets in there, but even for Brissett early on. Kendrick Bourne coming off the injury escaped from the Matt Patricia doghouse because Matt Patricia was fired, and he actually had a good start to the season last year before the injury. So if those three together, and then Javon Baker as well, another rookie people are really excited about. I think they went out and got, just with Baker and Polk, two guys who can stretch the field for Drake May. I think that's important. And Hunter Henry, still a solid, chain moving tight end. My biggest concern is definitely the offensive line when it comes to this group. Besides Onwenu and Andrews, who've obviously been there a very long time, but at the same time, not exactly all-pro caliber guys either, but solid veterans. But we'll see with Cole Strange. I mean, he's got hurt last year. Obviously, he was they overdrafted him. That was the whole thing, obviously. But I guess he's been okay. But I mean, Steelers fans know Okorofor is no starting left tackle, and I don't think Caden Wallace at Penn State is ready to fill that void either. What do you make of that group? Because when you pair it with the run game, I think they brought in Alex Van Pelt as offensive coordinator, and obviously he's kind of the architect for Cleveland's run game over the past few seasons. So I like Stevenson's prospects with Van Pelt, but not with this O-line. Do you agree with that take?
Yeah, that's kind of, I would agree with you. The issue is that the offensive players, they've brought in good young guys, but the problem is, will there be enough time to open holes, get open so they can, catch the ball? Like, will the quarterback get sacked? Will they get tackled behind the line of scrimmage? Like, that's kind of the big issue for them going forward. but I like at least the offensive players. But I do agree that the O line's kind of rough, which is unfortunate because that's also not great for Drake May's development. Which is why it's good that they have Brissett, because we know Brissett can weather the storm with some rough teams. You know, he was the Commanders quarterback last year, Browns before that, he was the Colts before that too. You know,
Yep.
He'll be okay. So
I agree. And the thing about this team is they're in maybe not the best division in football, because I think that might be the NFC North, in my opinion. But the top three in this division is so strong that it's going to make it hard for them. They'll probably steal a game or two, but it's going to make it hard for them to, get above 500. So I think this is a 6 or 7 win team. Looking at the defense, the thing about this team is they won 4 games last year, and it was not the defense's fault. The defense, amid a ton of injuries to key players, amid, Bill Belichick on his way out, whatever it may be, they still were a top half of the league defense. It's just the quarterback play. I mean, they averaged 14 points per game last year. Was that worst? I think that was worst in the league. So I think that you get Matt Judon back from his injury. You're getting Christian Gonzalez, who looked great until his early career injury last season. What do you think about this defense as a whole?
For me, honestly, I just like the defense. I don't really have too much to say because I think they're pretty well-balanced defense. You know, it was kind of similar to what we talked about the Broncos, is that a mostly well-balanced defense, but the talent level here is much better in that case. Like, I think there's not a lot of superstars on this defense, but basically everyone on this defense is like a good player.
Yeah.
You know, especially to me, their standout guy would be Christian Gonzalez. Shout out, he's Colombian too. And, I think he's going to be incredible. I think he's going to be great. Still surprised the Commanders passed him up, but whatever. I like their other corners too. I think Jonathan Jones is the other outside corner, Marcus Jones inside. The Duggar Peppers safety duo I think is also really great. I think it's a good defense. There's not much to say about them because they're just really good.
And you're getting Judon back, who, when healthy, has proven to be a huge, an electric pass rusher. The one concerning thing, Christian Barmore, who is just a tank on the D-line, dealing with some blood clots right now, so his status is in the air. If he's not in the lineup, that's going to hurt their run defense a lot. I don't think it's going to make it nosedive because they have good role players overall. They have good coaching, I think, but definitely a concern because he's, I would say, their best front 4 guy. One thing on Marcus Jones, this dude he's a blast. Do you remember him from 2 years ago? I mean, he was an awesome nickel corner as a rookie, but also an awesome punt returner. And I think with the new rules, I think that's going to benefit the Patriots a lot, just having him back there to return kicks. He's going to be healthy this year. One other thing about the Patriots, they were horrible when it came to kicking the football last year. Chad Ryland was horrible. He lost him a few games. Joey Sly in there now, a veteran. Just having a guy who can, make a 40-yard field goal at the end of a game is probably going to get them a win or two that they wouldn't have gotten last year. So I think we're in agreement that this team made a lot of the corrections you would have wanted to see. It's just that, like we said, the offensive line's an issue. It's a first-year head coach, a first-year quarterback, and not a clear-cut number 1 receiver unless Jalen Polk is better than we think, quicker than we think. So is that how you would summarize it? I think it's a solid team, though.
Yeah, I would say so. I think the big thing is that unfortunately they're just in a strong division, but the reason I think they're so high so far, or higher up than these rest of these bad teams, is because they have, I would say, the best potential. Because if things break their way, they could be a solid mid-level team. It's just unfortunately a lot of their division games are going to be tough, and that's for a lot of teams. Those are free wins to help boost the records, for a lot of them. And in this case, it's not really for them unless they can steal a few.